Okay, this is the practice from the 28th of March. We're practicing connecting with the deeps more, but I am going to analyze the video for everything, not just connecting with the deeps. So this is practice we drilled where we started with 7 people in a hex shape. There's defense slightly off screen, and they come down. As soon as the disc starts moving, they can come down and play D. So reasonable dribble here. It stops at this point, and you can see that Wharton has gone down the side. He knows that he's going to be the first cut. He's gone to the right hand side slightly so he can position himself to be running forwards but still see over his right shoulder in this case. If it was the other side of the field, it'd be the left shoulder. Could probably maybe gone a little bit wider. The defense has got a bit confused and overcommitted. Johan at this point should be running through. The dribble's ended, maybe a bit of confusion because there's so many people in this space, but Johan needs to throw this throw and accelerate, and CT needs to stay connected with him for a little bit, just in case the other line is free. Wharton is actually free deep because of the defense. Probably should have just kept going, but does still win the race back under once the defense sorts themselves out and gets the disc in the middle of the field. I feel that this handler could be a little bit further back, so the defender is not encroaching on CT's space. But these two players are well positioned. Like, the wing is reasonably wide, allowing Wharton the space in the middle of the field, and the far handler is also reasonably wide. The defender has to make a choice whether they poach or actually go. Just to also, when Wharton catches this disc, he does an inward turn, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. But it doesn't stop him from seeing Joe deep on the flick side. So he inward turns, but he still gets to see Joe going deep. So some people think, oh, I need to outward turn to see this throw, but actually the inward turn is still quick enough to be able to do that. And he puts a nice disc out into space, and pretty much everyone stops at this point because the drill isn't carrying on. Good decision though, to throw the inside and then a continuation. Next point, Sonny is a good position here. Disc is slightly thrown behind him, so he loses his momentum. We need to make sure all of these passes are good passes. Alexis is looking over his correct shoulder, but he needs to run a bit wider, head wider, in order to be able to see better and get that first momentum into that slash cut across the field. Okay, so this is a better position now. He's run a bit wider. You can see over his shoulder. Probably needs to get a little bit further downfield. But gets the disc in the middle of the field. Shape is good. Maybe this wing on the far side could be a bit wider to allow the next throw space, but generally good shape. Jonathan gets the disc here. His vision is facing back towards the handlers, so he should be looking to throw back towards them. So he sees Kao Jung, which is excellent, and throws the disc into space. Unfortunately, the disc gets dropped and the flow is lost. But right things. This dribble is a good example of a good dribble. Sometimes when we're dribbling, we try to make too many yards and do it too quickly, but it's actually better to be consistent with your speed and not necessarily go as far, just to increase the percentage of completed passes. Plus it also helps the deep time their cut better. If you go too fast, the deep struggles to get further away and to see when the dribble will end. I think communication is better when the dribble is also a bit more consistent. If it's too rushed, the communication can be lost, and people get too excited and make misjudgments, miscommunication, and it results in a turnover. So nice and consistent. Don't have to make too many yards. Try to get 2, 3, 4 dribbles in. It's obvious when the dribble is going to end in this case, and that allows Tom to accelerate out and head down the line. and it allows the deep to time their cut in, giving two really good clear options. I think both these options are good, by the way. I think Tom is winning the race into this shaded area, and if this can just be thrown around, or the deep can come under. Now the problem with this play is that the wing on the far side has crept in and is starting to cut into the middle of the field. And that's going to cause a slight problem for the deep coming in. So wings must stay wide on the pool play. And generally they should stay wide if they're not the connected player. Another thing to notice on this is that the distance between Tom and Stephen is good. There's no chance of a pick. Stephen got deep enough, okay, and Tom got far enough away from his other handler as well to allow them not to cause a pick or get too close. You can see that because the wing came in, we've suddenly got three defenders in a very small space. Lucky that no one really had a bid, but it stifles the flow. Though Stephen does throw a really nice inside out here, which Ryan recognises as space, and that just opens up the field again. Unfortunately, this pass is a bit too hasty. Next point, good dribble, nice and consistent. At this point in time, Nick's momentum is backwards. He's starting to think that he's got to stay, but actually his momentum should be forwards at this point. Maybe he doesn't realise the dribble's going to end, and there's obviously this extra defender in this lane, but needs to just plough forwards, allowing this deep to do the slash cut. This deep could be a bit deeper, probably too shallow, and that's why it doesn't get, well, several reasons why it doesn't get hit. That, plus also, this wing, again, is too far infield. There's a whole heap of space out here where this wing should be. Defenders come in and it's really stifled the play, and now our shape is gone. So that wing is crucial in staying wide. I like the fact that there's great separation here, but the hut doesn't go, a fake goes, yet this still hits a nice big under, gets the continuation and pushes off straight away. So obviously Wharton coming up on this side. If it was wider on the wing, it'd probably be even better. Probably even better continuation. Good idea. As soon as Elvis throws to Wharton, you should stay connected and look for the dump pass, and then maybe do a 1-2. There's so much space here now. Doesn't want to push downfield in this situation because there's someone already there. Get that return pass and then go back up. Ends up doing a cut and back again. Wharton throws the break, and Jocko throws the score. Two passes in this dribble. Deep doesn't quite get to the right place, but Wharton, defender, is starting to step backwards, so Karchun takes advantage of that and actually gets good distance on this cut, which I like. This defender and the wing are quite far apart, and when Karchun catches the disc, there's good separation, so he should be throwing this disc and then accelerating down that line, which he does. Really like Sonny's position here, nice and wide at the moment. Okay, that's what we want. We want this far wing to be nice and wide and not interfere with this middle space. Though now it's starting to creep in and generating a big empty space again. So try on this wing again, try to stay wider. Nobody in this area at all. Good disc out to Cecil, good continuation. Swinging it back across the field, prefer some 1-2s. On this catch, the offensive player turns outside. There is no one down this side. Well, there is someone down further deeper, but this outward turn means that loses connection with the player just throwing the disc, and that player's winning a race down the line. This disc should go. An inward turn would have helped, but this should go. Eventually throws it around. don't mind that continuation not going. Again, turning outside should stay connected to the inside. If you turned inside, you probably could see Sonny maybe for a little pass, or the handler going down the line. That's a great break. Again, Sonny's staying a bit wider, which is good. Maybe could be even a little bit wider. There's no wind in this situation. And then staying connected with Jonathan, maybe throwing the inside throw or the outside throw, because I think Jonathan's going to win this race on the outside throw as well, into this space over here. Another inside throw to Sonny actually allows Jonathan to get the disc in this space eventually anyway. So the fact that the disc went from this area to Sonny, and then Sonny's running towards the break side, allows him to then throw to the break side. Jonathan recognises this, or both. Both offensive players recognise it and get the easy score. This point, the dribble's coming. I want to have a look at this deep. Should be just heading straight out to the sideline, sort of gets a bit confused and does a bit of a spin, loses momentum. By this time they should be out here somewhere. Just a jog, needs to head harder deep. Should be really where Sonny is at the moment, where his defender is at the moment. And ends up too close to the wall of defenders. Probably should be another dribble in here anyway, but too early, didn't get into deep enough position to make an effective cut. This stifles the play. Alex looks straight back to the handler who's poached, which is a good option. As soon as you throw back to a handler, you should be looking to get the disc back, and the handler should be looking to get the disc back to you. So in this case, throws disc back, disc gets thrown straight, and then the handler leaves straight up the line, which is exactly the right thing to do to generate middle space. And then there is a bit of a pop pass. The other handler should probably give this a second to develop. So Alex throws back, I go up the line, toe is free in the middle space, but this far handler pushes around a bit quick, which means Raymond can start coming in. If he just stays his ground, then Toe would have got this disc nice in a bigger space. Throw probably could have been a bit better, maybe a lefty backhand. Right idea is just poor execution. Good dribble. Stops, distance between Johan and Joe is okay. Probably could have got a bit deeper. Fumble by the offense. Good dribble. This is far better spacing by Cecil. He's got further downfield, his vision is good, and that's going to generate him catching the disc a bit further downfield. Though this handler is a bit poached, and also the wing maybe could be a bit wider. This other handler position is good. So because of this distance, that's going to cause a problem. So this is where maybe Ryan should look at the handler and run up the line. Eventually Alexis comes back, which is good. It's facing towards the handler, should throw a pop pass and try to get a return pass. But looks it off, unfortunately. Does get the disc to Sonny. Again, we've lost our width. No one on this far side. It's a bit like being disciplined in the middle of the stack. You need to be disciplined wide on the wing side. Not everyone can be involved. Even bigger space now, with no one in it. Eventually gets down the line. Two good cuts here, Jonathan going in and Cecil going out. Should maybe head towards a bit more towards the midfield to give a better angle. But Jonathan, unfortunately, doesn't really commit forwards and starts running sideways, even slightly away, which allows CT, his defender, to sneak inside didn't get the block. Should have sealed the space better. 2-pass dribble. Wings are both wide, which allows this backhand break to go. And then because Raymond half committed to it, there's now the wing is free, and Tom sees this, has vision towards the wing, so should always throw it, and can go straight away. Even though Tom doesn't look particularly free here, he's got a step on his defender, and there's this big space because Raymond poached, and a nice simple around throw into that space allows Tom to chase down. I think this is a throw that we need to practice more, especially on the backhand side. Have a look at Ken, I think it is, over this side. He recognises in a split second that he is now in play because this disc has gone down the line, and he makes a really good move to get inside and accelerate away from his defender, get the inside channel, which means that now Tom is getting a power position and a free Ken into that space. It is on the outside of him, but he does turn his head really quickly to be able to pick up. He knows there's no one in front of him, so he turns his head really quickly to find the middle of the field, and then sees Ken early and gets a nice disc out. Next point, 2 poor throws really. That was below the knee, and then this one is also below the knee. It just doesn't help that momentum because it takes an extra half second to quarter second to get the disc out, stumbling forwards. This deep hasn't run to the sides to give himself good vision. He's run too much to the middle, which makes the slash cut very difficult and narrow, so there's no continuation. So we really need to get on that wide element. Though Johan comes back, which is really good. Holds onto the disc, doesn't have much connection, holds on the disc a bit too long, and then unfortunate drop by the deep cut coming in. 2-person dribble. This hat needed to head down the line quicker. Hesitated. Cecil would have been free, but baby cuts a bit too early, and the hand load a bit too late going down the line, so that's why we don't connect. And that pass needs to be more floaty and a bit more accurate. 2-pass dribble. I want you to, Alex recognises that there's only a 2-pass dribble and starts heading across the field. This defender hasn't reached his person he's marking, but the throw still goes because he understands the space. The other deep shouldn't be running here. I know he's free, but he should be heading across the field more. So when Alex gets the under, he can possibly get the disc over here, but wanted to go and get the disc. Let's not. We know that slash cut is coming, so let's let that slash cut come. Alex is looking this way. It should throw the pop pass and then carry on down the line, and that will generate flow. And this pass should also go. So they should be dribbling down this sideline now because both defenders are behind. And good cut by Ryan. Nice, good decision though. A nice inside little break because of the momentum of the defense is going to stop that dribble. Gets a nice inside break. 1-2, probably should throw this dribble. I know we're heading towards the sideline, but one of us is free, so we're going to get the easy reset. Plus there's someone free further downfield for the continuation. Looks it off though, and executes the next pass poorly. Probably a bit close this dribble. This far deep is not wide enough. It should be wider and heading deep whilst the slash cut's coming across. Works out. I mean, it does get the slash cut. It would have been nice to have been a bit deeper. This is break side, I think, as well, so that works out quite well. Good throw to space. Wing should have been a bit wider, and then maybe would have got this pop pass. maybe not, but it'll generate more space for the deep shot. Though does get the little pass, which is exactly the right thing to do, and then that does still generate this break side throw, which is good. Good collection by Choco. Throwing that dump early, getting the 1-2 is great. Good lefty backhand, and you can see the acceleration coming out of the throw as well, which is excellent. Wharton should get this pot pass. I think Tom switches here, or maybe it's on the next pass, which could switch, but this should go. And then I think that there should be an arch throw around into this space, backhand. Tom's on that side, there's a lot of space to aim for, throws a flipper instead, which hangs in the air too long, and it's a turnover. Johan, running down on defence, tries to get this block in between Sonny and Karchung, and doesn't make it, or overcommits. So this is a great opportunity now for a continuated dribble, which is exactly what they do, which is fantastic, and actually Karchung ends up getting a good disc down the line. And at this point, there is nobody in front. So he should be turning back to the middle of the shape, which is actually behind him, and giving an early dump pass and give go. But actually the problem is holds onto the disc. Raymond and Sonny probably need to communicate in this situation, probably Raymond telling Sonny what to do. Sonny does end up looking over his shoulder to see what's there and then makes a decision, but I think earlier communication would have been good here. This disc should be going backwards. It should have gone backwards already. It should be going backwards now. Karchung looks and then turns back around and then eventually gets point blocked, probably on a reasonably high stall. This is a good position by the deep. It's run down the sidelines, turn the body the correct way. This deep should probably be a little bit deeper, but as long as he doesn't interfere with the lane, by the time he gets the disc, it's good. And then this deep checks, seeing that it's going to be break side or it's backhand force, and then gets a nice easy disc, though it's a bit underthrown, but catches it. Facing the middle of the field, wants to throw back to this person who threw to him, so is keeping an eye on basically all the three of these players. Actually it's Toe that steps back and throw that quick release, and then Toe's vision is good enough to see that Tom will be free, even though he fumbles the pass a little bit, still manages to get it out to Tom on the far side. Continuation, great continuation to Kevin. I think Tom should have headed down the line here. There's people in the middle of the field. We've lost our spacing a little bit. One of us, or Toe ends up coming a bit wider, getting that break. Toe should be looking for a 1-2 here. So he started, but he's not. We should have stayed connected, but we've lost that connection now. And then get too close here. Now this does happen, and it isn't. It's a rubbish cut. Like, it should be better than that. But we want to throw this pass back quickly because it will alleviate the problem. I know it's sort of rewarding the person for a bad cut. We talk about it afterwards and say, come on, that should be wider. But let's throw those small passes. Ken turns outward and basically puts his back to all the players, so he should be turning inward on that particular throw, or on all throws, but that would have made really good use of an inward turn. Gets the disc back to Stephen and heads straight away down the line, which is exactly the right thing. This throw should be outside in, but there's a bit inside out, so just need to practice that throw a bit better. The shape of it is not great, but Kane adjusts and tracks it down. Next point. Johan overcommits, but this time he was marking the handler, so it's not so bad. The handler needed to go down the line probably a little bit quicker on that throw. It's a bit of a jog as well. I think he could beat his person into the space. Wilson does come back. The shape is good. It's a bit of space. That far wing is in a good space. and because they're in a good space, it gets a continuation down to the deep. This is a good throw. Could be executed slightly better, but it's a right idea, creates a lot of space. Wilson should be spotting that this throw goes and gets the continuation. Because Raymond had a layout, I missed it. Now Wilson should be thinking about staying wide, get that shape back. Lost a handler at the moment. If the disc goes forwards, the handler will automatically come. So it drifts a bit too far in field again, and we end up with this massive space with no one in it. Squeeze the disc through. Just really would wide this width, which Wilson eventually gives a bit more. Still, but ends up tying the disc in the middle. Good dribble, nice and consistent. Ken's looking over the wrong shoulder. It should be turned the other way and gone a bit wider to help him get free on the next cut. Another dribble should happen, which I think Ken is expecting, and because it doesn't happen, his timing goes. And also means that Alex doesn't commit to going down the line properly, because he's expecting the disc back, and we just end up jogging through. Ken does get the disc in the middle, does the right thing popping the disc, probably should have gone back to him again, and up the line cut. Nice inside break, defender's now on the wrong side. Alex recognises this and tries to move the disc forward quickly. Both are free. In this situation, I think the disc should go back to Alex. I know that this side is freer, but this was the connected player. I would prefer this disc to go back to Alex. There's more connected players on that side of the field than this side of the field, but the execution is really poor. Good wide cut by Johan. I think Nick needs to fake this or throw this. If he's not happy with giving this disc back, he needs to fake it. It pies to pop the lefty over the top, and it's a poor throw. There's a deep slashing across there, so it's going to be difficult. Johan again trying to get the D between these two players, and stops in between. In this situation, we've still got our slash cut coming, and that's good timing, good distance, and the wing and the other deep are in excellent positions to allow it to happen. No chance of any poaches. Raymond was looking that way, throws that way, which is like the right thing to do. Sonny should return this throw. And then himself probably head back towards the middle and up the line. Gets looked off though. Does end up throwing a really nice backhand into the middle space. Defender is caught watching the disc. Kar-Chung should recognise this and accelerate up into this space. But Alexis looks the other way, which is fine, it's the right thing to do, and throws pop pass. But these two players are free. These two players should be dribbling, and that doesn't happen. They disconnect. So he throws another great backhand. I'd like this cut to be probably a little bit closer. Maybe it was hard in that situation, but if we get it where the empty surface, it'd be even better. Turns away, but gets the dump. That should be completed to Kar-Chung. Lucky to be completed to Sonny Lai. This is a great grab in a second by Alexis. Obviously now no handlers, so he's got to wait a little bit before it does the right thing, moving just sideways. Sonny Lai gets the disc. Good position, but we've lost our width. I mean, we lost it a while ago. We didn't have handlers, and now everyone's basically on the same side of the field. So one of these three should be really wide. This should probably get dumped now. But Sonny Lai makes a great cut line. Sonny So should recognise now that it's 2-on-1, and he should be trying to dribble into the end zone on this side of the field. But there's a disconnect, ends up coming towards the middle. So it should go round at that point. He's facing that way. Player's free. I think there's a pit call. And the play stops, so maybe that's why it didn't happen. And the point ends. Good dribble, good continuation, good pop pass, and good deep cut. Not a big full huck, just throwing it into that space for that person to go and get. No chance for the defence. Should have thrown that back. Ends up getting a second cut. Should throw this back, but turns away. Like, I know it's heading towards the sideline, but you've got an advantage. Let's just take that advantage. Eventually throws to the sideline anyway, so you might as well throw it the first time. Have one look, when you do get that sideline, have one look downfield and then try to throw it straight back. Especially if the defender poaches straight away, then we can go round, but hesitation, a bit of travel call as well. Gets the flick, and that should have been a goal. Bit of miscommunication, shape of the disc wasn't OI, sorry. Could have been a bit deeper on here. Maybe this dribble shouldn't be ending so soon. There's no full width here either. Like there's someone's wing's not wide enough. Though good job by Elvis here to spot that this down the line throw goes and Elvis becomes free across the field. Powers through. This is always a good situation to have continuation from on that, especially on the deeps where they're quite close, they're nearly level with each other. Good decision though not to throw it long and see these people running through and being free and throwing a little pass to CT. We then also see Johan and throws the little pass. Maybe a little bit wider would have been good, especially where this defender is located. Choco has two choices here to go wide, which I think I would have preferred, and throw the disc around, but he decides to come inside and get a little pop pass, which is okay. Should recognise at this point. He sees that CT is free, but so is Elvis. Should throw to Elvis, and Elvis throws CT, but instead tries to throw up and around Elvis's poached defender and misses it. Should make it still, should be just a bit more bladey, but throws it out of bounds. CT does a good job of worlds, but doesn't quite make it back to Johan, who tries, it's just a bit short. Dribbled maybe a bit close, but it's okay. Hanley needs to recognise the dribble's ended and go up the line quicker. Bit of a, just head down that line hard, even if you're not going to be free. Good cut by Jonathan, good vision by Raymond to throw the inside throw. Turns away from everybody initially, though reconnects with Wilson. Wilson gives the dump here, but shouldn't be clearing. There's no clearing here. You're a connected player. You should be looking for the disc and should go and get the 1-2 back in the middle of the field, and that would have given Sonny space on the side as well. Jonathan's facing towards Sonny, should throw towards Sonny. Or at least fake, but doesn't, disconnects, should have thrown that back. Finds Raymond, who is also free. Raymond facing towards Jonathan, should throw the disc back to Jonathan and run up the line. Run into that power position. Turns away again. So it's, I mean, there's some good decisions in this, but just keeps disconnecting from players where we should just be throwing between them and dribbling, bouncing. Poach on the D, recognised, throws back. Raymond should go down power position again, and Karchuk should throw to Raymond on that side of the field. Disconnects again. 3 disconnects in a row, turning away from players that just threw the distance. Okay, does end up throwing the disc to Cecil, but should head down the line, giving Jonathan the middle space. instead backs up, stayed next to the play. Okay, works out this time now. Cotchin makes a good decision to throw to Jonathan, but Jonathan turns the wrong way, turns outward instead of inwards, loses the vision, loses the connection with fellow players. Does find Raymond down the line. Great throw by Raymond inside. That's an excellent throw. That really opens up the space. When we disconnected so many times and our spacing isn't great, then that's a really good throw. And in this case, you can disconnect from the player because you know that the swing is a break side throw and the swing is likely. I think Jonathan should be heading into this backhand space. The force is straight up, not even straight up, it's miles away. There's loads of space to be thrown to, still loads of space to be thrown to on that side. Gets the dump. Throws another dump, should head down the line. Even if it gets thrown to Jonathan, he can readjust and head down the line. It was Sunny with space. Should head down the line again. But someone should be filling in the backhand space. Inward turn, which is good. Now we hit this backhand space, which is good, and these players should recognise that there's going to be a lot of space on this break side. Again, with nobody overhit there, and there should have been. Inward turn, which is good. Got two options: throw to Wilson and continue the dribble, or look downfield and see the fact that Sunny is free and executes. That last point, I think, was a good point. Like, there was lots of disconnect, so it could have been a lot better. But generally, in this point, there was good decisions. We didn't throw away. We made solid passes. Better defense may have put a bit more pressure on us, and the end result was a goal. But a few people just turned the wrong way, and it would have just helped if they turned the right way and not disconnected from other players. Okay, so that's the end of that analysis on that video. If you've got any other thoughts, then get in touch.